everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today I'm going to show you step by step how you can create for yourself at home this raging rooster. Mr. Angry Bird himself, the judgiest of all the judgy birds I've ever painted, and if you painted with me for a minute, you know I paint a few judgy birds. I don't know what, I actually really like chickens and roosters. I have no idea why all my chickens and roosters are so angry. So I'm going to be showing you how to create this today. We're going to be using the Paul Rubens Metallic Glitter Palette. It's really nice. So if you have metallic watercolor paints, this is a really good demonstration on like what could I do with them if you bought a set. Like sometimes, have you ever done this thing where you go to the art supply store and you see a thing and you think that's cool and you buy it and then you're like, I have no idea what to do with any of this. On the mic is my husband John.
Hello.
He helps me do these live classes. He turns on the equipment, reminds me that I have to go live and stop pushing buttons now. And he also makes sure that our cameras are pointing at you and my head isn't covering the work, as you saw earlier. As he slides me on.
Sometimes.
I have two channels. I have a watercolor channel and an acrylic channel. This is my watercolor channel. I may teach the bird in acrylic as well because you guys have had so much positivity about him. He is really cute. Let's talk a little bit about the materials that I'm going to be using. I'm going to put my reference aside over here, kind of sitting up. I put him in a heavier pad so that he'll stand up. So I'm using Black Fabriano. This is a really interesting paper. If you do colored pencil, if you do pastels, you do watercolor, and you need a black paper, this is the black paper I really, really love. It's 300 grams, which if you know me, I'm always saying you have to have 140-pound watercolor paper to start with. I always say that, right? Why do I say that? Because water gets in the paper buckles, 140-pound minimum is kind of where you want to start. The other way of expressing 140 pound is 300 GSM, and this is gram. That's what it is. And this is Fabriano, which I love. And it's so black. Look how black it is. Oh, it's so black. Like a black hole.
It is. I'm going to have to adjust my camera. It's
Stuart
so,
Semple's going to come get me.
So...
That's how black this paper is. Stuart Semple's all mad. All mad. No, he's not. He's a very nice man. Makes very nice paint. I'm also going to be using a round watercolor brush. I am right now enjoying the number 14 Raphael SoftAqua. What's wrong? Because it's so black. It is dark paper. But, you know, here's the thing. As I paint on it, it won't be dark paper anymore. The other cool materials I'm using is white pencils. I have white watercolor pencils. I have Crayon d'Ache. I have Cretacolor. I also have Cretacolor pastel chalk pencils. Any of these will work. They all are fantastic for this. And at the end, I like to do a little fine lining with titanium white paint. You could use craft bottle paint. Any paint is totally fine. Now, we played a very fun game. I was letting you guys know that we had this class over on Instagram today that you can watch it on Facebook or YouTube. That either was fine. My team's going to have to catch the questions in chat today because I'm actively painting here. So gotta focus on the art or it gets weird.
Kathy says morning from Australia.
Morning, Kathy. Morning. We're going to paint watercolors. So, I asked you guys a question. Rage Rooster, what is he mad about? Give me his reason. And so, some funny stuff happened on Instagram.
Yeah.
Jane Shaw says, what you talking about, Sherpa? I would love to do it in acrylic. The empathetic chicken. Okay, first of all, empathetic chicken, I hope you're watching right now because I love that you're an empathetic chicken and you answered this question. Maybe he saw his reflection and thought it was another rooster. He's so empathetic, the chicken. Good name. What?
We can see.
Can you see?
We can see.
Okay, good. He's supposed to.
Okay.
Patty Brock, he's mad because he literally got his feathers ruffled. Fantastic. Dean Sudine, Raging Rooster ranting about summer coming. He's excited to ruffle his colorful feathers. Off-Road Goodies says he thinks he's a chicken. He thinks the chicken crossing the road joke is old and he's totally over it, done. That would be super John's fault. Because if somebody's going to drop a dad joke, it's John. I saw this earlier today. Graham Serlim. I'm just putting a bunch. It's because it's SRLM, so I'm guessing that. Well, he seems to be giving the person to his right a tongue lashing for closing the chicken coop door last night and leaving him out in the rain. And people always talk about being mad as an old wet hen, but never mention the ire of a wet rooster. That does seem rooster gender bias. James is being encouraging. And then we have spam from the House of Art. So if you're on Instagram, just if you're new to Instagram and you don't know this, because they got my daughter once, and I don't know what she would have done if she did not have her mom to go, no. Sometimes you will get these really lovely comments on your artwork that say, hey, come here and promote it. When you DM them, it's a cost and it's a fee. And what I want to say is your art actually builds up those pages. So I would suggest you should be paid. Anyway, so you see that there. So I didn't get a whole bunch of people requesting to promote it. Or I don't consider it real anyways. No. It's not real to me. So those were your things. Thank you for playing. I really appreciate it when you guys do stuff with me. Like that. That means a lot, actually. And then, you know what, John?
What's that?
I might be able to go see myself. Watercolor with me, the Art Sherpa. Why did I type that in? I literally typed in watercolor me, the Art Sherpa earlier. What is going on with me? That makes no sense at all in any way. All right. Are you guys ready to paint?
I'm ready.
Now, you can paint this rooster in another, you can paint it with regular watercolor paints on white paper. The techniques will translate. They will apply. The thing that won't apply is the white pencil and the white paint. What you do is you flip it to black. So if you're working on white, flip the white pencil and paint to black or another dark color, and it will still work. But all the rest of the techniques, same. So let's start out. Let's begin with a Cretacolor. Cretacolor studio line. I'm gonna see where we do, and I'm gonna sketch him in. Now, I had a little inspiration rooster that I had seen out there in the world that started him. It's different than him, so he didn't end up being my reference. But I really liked his like so he became the muse for Ragey Rooster. All right, I see Patty Hoffman and Bonita and Amethyst and Ann and Angela and Kelly. Okay, I love seeing everybody.
I see so many people in so many places.
So many places. I'm going to bring this around. You guys are going to kind of see me draw this. Sometimes that can be helpful to see me draw something because you kind of understand how maybe something could be constructed and be built in the painting. I like to start my roosters with the beak on this kind of thing. I don't actually do a shape sketch where I kind of do the round circles of the head and the body and the neck on this because it's on black and all those lines would show. And I don't really need all the information that's here. I need the beak and I need just a few bits of information, but not all of it. Let's come here and give him a very judgy eye. Why are my eyes judgy? It's because I keep dropping the lid. If you want the eyes to not be judgy and be really open, you can also make this voice, but you make the lid really, really big and open. Mine are like this, though. Birds. I had birds. I had a rooster. His name was Pretty Boy Floyd. I won him in a raffle. My parents were not pleased. Because you know what they had? Then they had a rooster. John is very familiar with this experience. I'm just putting in a kind of very judgy little beaky eye here. And sometimes I'll put in some lines to remind myself. Now, the little waddle, we know this now because we've done a few birds and we didn't used to know what it was called, but then everyone on the internet has told us because the internet is helpful in that way. And so now we know. I'm going to make a little bit of waddle up here. Some of this will disappear as I paint and then I'll come back and white line it in again. But I find it's nice to have the lines. You can give yourself just some thoughtful little feathers, as you can see we do. These are watercolor pencils, so they kind of soften in the watercolor and then I put them back later. He needs some definite little fluffy chickenness here. And we will bring this back here when we come in with the paint. And that's really all of the pre-sketching that we need at the beginning.
That's all
we need. Shall we see it overhead so they can see the very light lines? There's not a lot that you need to do. You can't really do it wrong.
It's just the faintest of faint lines. Just, a kiss of chicken.
Kiss of chicken. So these are really interesting. These paints, I really like them. I bought them kind of on a lark, and then we tested them, and then I realized I love them. So on occasion, we pull them out because some of you guys bought them too. And now I wanted you to have projects. If you're like, you do this and you go buy the paint and you're like, what else is there to do? There is an iris and a couple other things that we have painted on the black paper. So we have a few projects, and every once in a while we will pull it out and do a lesson. Let's begin with the eye. So I'm going to start, I did an interesting thing. I'm going to begin with a little bit of our gold here. I have pre-wet the water with a little pipette. My watercolor, I kind of prime it with a little bit of water so it's soft. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to, on the toe of the brush, kind of make a little C shape on the inside. Now, you know how when we paint with white watercolor paper, that the white is our white in the paint? Yep, yep. The black is now the black. So that's why I don't paint in the iris, because this is the black. This is the black that I am looking for on my paper. I'm going to grab a little bit of my white here. It's kind of reflective. I like it a lot. These can be a little hard to activate if you haven't played with them before. I'm going to just on the toe there. See how we go? And I leave a little bit of dark in because that's where that line is, that darkness. Maybe another little bit of gold. I'll go into the brighter gold here. And I'm going to think about the beak a bit. And then I'm going to think about the beak on the bottom. We may come back with some color that we're going to layer over the top, but I start with gold and then I'll come back with the green in a bit. Just a little bit down there. That's not bad. That's lovely. That's the green metallic.
Super.
I mean, that's the gold metallic. You would just do your ochre or your yellow, you know, just whatever color that has that kind of rich yellow feeling on your regular palette. Heather C says Pollo Loco, which is like where I used to eat in California.
And Sandy sent a message over on Facebook. She says, I love learning with you two. You two are such an awesome pair. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for being here with us. Whether you're joining us on Facebook or you're joining us on YouTube, you just pick the stream that's working best for you on your device. Because, you know, it's kind of one or the other sometimes, isn't it? It's never at the same time. I'm coming over the top of the eye with the orange. This is the bright tangerine. And come here and kind of put a little bit of the bright tangerine. Now, the glitter I got on Etsy. You can buy handmade watercolor paint on Etsy. This Friday, we're going to have a class on how to make watercolor, and that will apply actually to all these paints. So if you see stuff that's really cool and you want to learn how to make it, come by. I'll show you live. You'll be like, is it real? And I'll be like, it is real. Let's bring a little bit of that back. Now I'm going to get into my little purple color here. This is the purple. So there's the darker blue purple, and this is the red purple. These colors look completely different on white paper and black paper. I'm just bringing that back. Every time I paint these, it just becomes its own thing.
Now that shock of blue is
wonderful. But you don't think it's going to be because this looks purple, doesn't it? Swatching is your friend.
I got like, I'm really just impressed by that. That's like, whoosh, I got some deep questions for you, but man,
I'm grabbing the deep magenta down here at the far end. It's kind of like it's almost like a quin magenta, really honestly. Not, but it looks a lot like it. I'm sure these are all mica pigment. If you're wondering how do they get this is mica, isn't it?
This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I believe these are mica. Mica is actually pretty okay for the environment and safe to work with.
So I'm going to say thank you to Sandy and Barbara and Vicky and everybody out on Facebook with all the star support. We love you guys. Thank you so much for it. I've got some wonderful comments and questions here for you too.
I have two here on YouTube. You go first, and I'll catch the two I have on YouTube.
Okay, you got the YouTube ones. Okay. Yeah. Just wanted to send. Sandy said she loves learning with us. Vicky says thank you for all the hard work. Lori says hello. There were just a bunch of messages. Barbara says love to you. So want to make sure to get those over to you.
All right. So Kim Zook asked a very reasonable question. Do I have a template or traceable? I do if it's not pulling up on the website. Let me go by and if it's not pulling up for you, that's just a glitch in our website, and I'll fix that right after the show. But that's where you find them is under the traceables tab. So if it's not pulling up like something I didn't tag right or I made some mistake. What paints am I using? These are the Glitter Metallics by Paul Rubens.
Scroll up to Lynn's.
Huh?
Scroll up to Lynn's question.
All right. Can I cover canvas with black craft paint and then watercolor on it? No! I wish you could. No, but I have a way you can. So there's a product called Daniel Smith Watercolor Ground, and it comes in black. And you can paint your canvas with that, and then it's watercolor paper in black. It also works on rocks and metal and almost anything, but you can do that on the canvas. On canvases, you have to prep it with a ground to take the watercolor. That's why some canvases are listed as aqua canvases or aqua boards. Is they have a substrate that's very absorbent and mimics watercolor paper. That's a really good question, because how would you know?
Mm-hmm.
How would you know? Do the paints rush out of the brush easily, says Tracy. Yeah, they do, actually. They're not, it's not like glitter. For those of you who are like, oh, glitter. No, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. I'm going to grab this brighter red here.
And Angela,
you down from the gold.
We're going to get to paint making questions like in a upcoming video. It's just a lot to cover right here. Yeah,
it would be a little bit to cover here, Angela, but you were Friday, catch that class. You're going to walk away knowing how to make paint.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We will make sure that you can make paint by the end of the class, and you will know the things that you have to know. I think I want to pull these out a little bit. I want to make his little combier. You know how sometimes your combs are combier? I'm kind of working two reds here. I think that's going to make a nice little effect. And so you can see this as we turn it, can't you?
Oh, that's what it was. Vicky said Happy Pride Month. That's where I was missing.
Happy Pride Month! Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And it is also, it's Pride Month. It's National Fibromyalgia Awareness Month. I think there's a couple other observances going on. I mean, I'm kind of fond of pride. And it's so awesome. People are going to get to celebrate together again and be together, and I think that's terrific. Safely.
Yes, safely.
I'm going to take a little of my gold and orange and mix them together. And come here. I'm going to put a little of this in, and then I'll go right into this red here, and maybe even down kind of like into the redder reds. It's kind of like making an orange. I'm just going through the reds and kind of blending an interesting little orange down here in the comb and in the little comb. It's been really wonderful. I just wish everybody a safe, happy celebration, especially right now. You know, and this is going to be a weird random thing, but given the state of the universe, remember whenever you're in a crowded location to look for more than 2 exits in case something gets weird. I say that to my kids all the time.
Public service messages from the Sherpa.
Well, I'm sorry. You know how I don't watch the news? I fell off the wagon and I watched a bunch of the news, and now I'm everywhere with my kids going, can you find the exits? Can you find the exits? I'm like, it's like on the plane. Is there an exit? Is there an exit? Is there an exit? So if you're going to go and you're going to celebrate this month and you're going to be out in crowds, just remember to look for exits and always have a strategy in the back of your mind, even as you play.
And knowing is half the battle.
I'm sorry.
G.I. Joe.
Sorry. I'm a little weird. I'm going to grab a little more purple here. And I'm going to do an interesting, this is sort of my feather stroke here. I'm going to come back and I'm going to pull a little bit of this. Kind of pulling out, and you can kind of see that gives me a little bit of a feather. I love those little feather bits. The other little feathery. Patricia, do metallics blend wet into wet as the same as regular watercolors? Similar enough for all the techniques to be functional. They're a little different. They don't have quite the same bloom. They don't have quite the same halftones, but they do actually blend.
Now, is it just me, or has anyone ever noticed that the Sherpa shifts gears from comedy to serious painting? Like, just
I'm gonna grab
turns the corner. I'm painting now. Don't make jokes.
My kids have similar notes for me. They think I'm like the mom from the Goldbergs when I give them, I'm just giving them safety information. I'm just giving you safety information. I love all of you. I want all of you to be safe and okay, and also look for 2 exits. That's all I'm saying. Let's get some grade paint. Don't tell my kids you guys agree. They're always like, Mom! Mom! See, these are just little kind of brush strokes that sort of come up like this. I really like this green.
You can't see them in the shadows. They have to come out into the sparkle. See,
that green, it's like a beetle, isn't it? The carapace of a beetle. Isn't that weird that I just used the word carapace? How do you work that into a conversation? I'm going to grab a little more of my pink. And come back in. I need a heavier load of it. You can kind of see that does give it a little blend. Maybe a little red. There we go. Now we're gonna come down. I like to have a little gold here. These look very different on white paper. It's a different painting entirely. So if you're doing the metallics on white and you're getting different results, this is a function of the black paper and of the paint. And we're going to be playing with that a lot. Tomorrow, watch the acrylic channel. I am going to show you how to paint a strawberry with that. Maybe I don't want to say tomorrow because we might not get it edited in time.
Oh, that maybe. Could be tomorrow.
It could be tomorrow, but I don't want to put you in a position, John, where you're up all night editing.
Is it an evening or a morning drop?
It's 11 a.m.
That's a good question. That'll have to see how.
I'm going to grab this brick red while John decides. I'm not going to add it, but watch my channel because I'm going to drop very soon a video about painting a very red strawberry. You guys want to see it? Want to peek? Because you're so good and you showed up at the Watercolor Live? A very red strawberry without red paint, as per the question I've been getting from many, many, many of you. So I will be answering that.
Can it really be done?
Can it be done, or is it an internet TikTok lie? Learn more. I'm going to grab some of this copper color here. And we're just doing very loosey-goosey brush strokes to catch the flavor. Maybe get some pink here of these feathers. And you just want to kind of come in and pull in some more of this pink. Such a good pink, this one. Let's get into some of our blue, because roosters have blue, don't they? Put some blue in a few places. You'll have to excuse me, I've been watching all about Halston, for whom I over-relate, I think. All right. There we go. Oh, the retreats. Amy Overt says she wishes she was joining us on the retreat. Guys, if you want to, so there's check. Man, I got to put a thing over here. We're going to have 2 meetup days on our June retreats. I'm going to have Linda drop in what time, what day they are. They're the Sunday. They're the last day of the retreat from like 1 to 3. You can come and just meet us and say hi. It's free for you to come. If you want to come and paint like this with me in person, face to face, you can do that as well. Let's add some more green. I'm going to grab this deep green right here. All right. How about I show you that? Should I show?
Okay, yeah. I'm over here. I'm just trying to read.
I didn't use any red to paint this.
Zero red. And this is
zero
live.
Red.
This is a
In
live.
fact, I painted it with secondary color.
Look at this. And see, like, I'm going to go cross zoom over here. Look at this. This is non-color. I mean, like, this is just our regular color corrected.
This is
straight
so
up.
You know when people are like, it's color corrected.
It's like, no, we didn't modify it. This is what you get.
I get asked by you guys a lot, how do I mix red?
No red.
No red.
No primary red.
No primaries. All right.
She makes magic tricks now.
Do I make magic tricks? I'm going to get a little more gold, and I like to sort of blend these feathers in, sort of layer them together, guys. Going to layer them in. Oh, I want to thank everybody, too, because the channel finally made an official channel on YouTube over here.
Thank you all.
We could not have done it without you. We really could not have. I'm going to layer my green feathers in at the neck a little bit. ruffle his feathers just a little more as you do.
Roughly.
Now, when I do the tail, and I'm going to give myself just a few little guides, the tail's going to come up here. I do think it's important to pull it out on a pretty strong curve, and then it's going to come down here. So it's going to have a little fan out. See how I'm kind of giving myself a little reminder of how my fan's going to go? Let's start with blue. Kim's like, that's a mean tease. Now I want to know. She's like, how do you do that? Yeah, it's really cool, actually. And it won't be like a super long video. Like, you'll walk away knowing. And you'll walk away knowing what you have to know to actually make it work in your own life from your own paint box. Because you know me, I'm a big one. I'm a big stickler for that. See how I'm pulling these brush strokes back? Now, again, this is just a number 14 Raphael SoftAqua. I haven't changed brushes. I'm still just in this brush.
I'm not sure if this
Heather sees like, angry. We're official. We're official. What were we before? According to YouTube, an interloper.
That's right.
An unknown, unsafe, potentially hostile, bad actor enemy.
I'm not sure expendable is
definitely
quite the
expendable. Word. Though of course any channel on YouTube is completely expendable. You could wake up one day and we could be gone.
Thank you, Inova.
And not have done anything wrong. Thank you. All right. Okay. We're official. Thank you for the reminder. All right. We're going to add some gold here back into this cool gold color. I love this cool gold color.
Do you have a moment to wax philosophical?
I do. Let me put in a couple gold feathers and then I'll wax philosophical. Sometimes I like to do short strokes and longer strokes just so that the tail has a little bit of a flourish to it. On here, I'm going to kind of curve around. All right, what am I waxing on?
Now, I noticed that a lot of our community, including Lindsay, are going out and selling their paintings at a lot of the local fairs and things.
Congratulations. Awesome.
Do you have any suggestions for names for when you're out there putting your stuff out there?
Names on the paintings?
Not in your business, when you're putting your paintings and things out there.
Yes, I do. And I have come to this knowledge. This bit of advice is worth like $1,000. Seriously. You will pay somebody a lot of money to hear this bit of advice. If you're in an art business, please let me save you some pain. There is a beautiful name that you have in your heart, right? It is the wrong name. There's two things to consider about your name. Your long-term brand identity. I'm going to use my mom, Ginger Cook. Ginger Cook is a very tough name to brand identify on because there are a lot of cooks with ginger. So for mom to surface on Google,
right,
she has to really, really compete with a lot of search terms. And even though you're in a craft fair, and even though you're doing this business, at some point you're going to have an online presence, and that online presence needs to be findable. So, like, if you have a really obscure, difficult to remember name, it's probably not going to be searched. You won't necessarily follow, like, there's a thing called lookalike audiences. You won't necessarily pull up and lookalike audiences. Those are people that look like the people who follow you, but are other people. You want them. You want all of them. They're your new friends. You haven't met them yet. They're so fantastic. You want all the lookalike audiences you can get. So what you need to do, whatever you're going to name yourself, remember this is your long-term brand. Your name is part of your brand, so consider having that be part of it, like, you know, just even your name brand. But if you want something besides your name brand, do me the solid of Googling it. When I started out, I used Heart Party. Doesn't that sound smart?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. There's a guy named Kevin Hart who throws party. He does every business on the planet. He's an entrepreneur.
He's just like, if he has an idea, he does it. He's very, very entrepreneurial. Very difficult to compete in his space. Not that we want to. Not with trying.
I did. And for a while there, I'm sure he was yelling at his social media people going, why is some pink-haired lady showing up in my search metric?
Who is this painter lady? I'm sure we would make it into a stand-up bit.
But he has a lot of money and a social media people to pull up on Heart Party, doesn't he? So that's what you want to think about. Am I findable? Am I searchable? and what is the Google real estate that I have to compete in like. So if you and then remember again, your name is your brand too. So it was a decision to not be Cinnamon Cooney and to be the Art Sherpa. That was a very interesting decision for me. But when I was just painting in my own fine art, believe you me, I was Cinnamon Cooney, right? Which is a pretty easy search metric to show up in. Amy, are masks going to be required during the retreats? Amy, we are going to go with whatever state law requires and whatever the business requires.
Yep, we are going to abide by CNC guidelines as per the usual.
As per the usual. Just
whatever they say, we do it.
So, you know.
And if it is, we'll have very, very pretty ones there. But if, you know.
If it sneaks up on you, we'll make sure we got some backups, you know, waiting there. And it really does seem to be changing day by day, doesn't it, guys? Like, the guidelines are ever changing. I'm grabbing more of my yellow here. I like this yellow too. This is one of my favorite yellows. It's kind of like a white yellow, and I really love it. When I come around here, this is one of my very favorite brush strokes. I use it in just everything.
See.
Have you noticed that I use that brush stroke a lot? It was pointed out that the rooster is not currently angry, and I've noticed that. I don't know why he's not mad right now, but he's not. He'll be mad later. He's going to be super angry. All right. And Angela says, my mom rocks. She does. But it is hard for her to pull up in a non-cooking related space. And it does every once in a while mess up the YouTube algorithm. And she loves to name things creatively. We have that conversation all like, Mom, no one is searching for those words. Nobody. And she's like, that's pretty. And I'm like, all right, it is pretty. You are super right. It's very pretty. There you go. My mom is a lot of fun.
Are you live, and is your name really Cinnamon?
My name really is Cinnamon. My mom's name is Ginger. These things all happen. For the adults in the room, because I didn't know this until I was older, when people used to ask me if Cinnamon was my real name, I used to say, no, it's my easel name.
Did you know that she's named after a spy?
I am from Mission Impossible.
A clandestine international person of interest.
We're going to get more red and put some feathers in. Yep. My mom watched Mission Impossible, and she thought it'd be nice if I was a spy. Why she would think that? That looks like a terrible life. Like, if you're a spy, I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn and I am wrong. But to me, it looks like a very difficult, exhausting, emotionally taxing life to be a spy.
The only thing Sim's going to sneak up on you and do is say, would you like to paint?
Also, I'm not going to keep the secret if you torture me. Because everybody gives up. Nobody survives all the torture. So you might as well just be like, here's all the information you need. Unless you're trying to give people getaway time. Why? Why? So many whys. I'm going to just kind of pull this out here and just make sure that we've got a little bit of a curve kind of coming out in that line. Because we want a nice back chicken line. Back into our blue. I haven't even gotten into the glitter at all. More blue. I like to do these little curve strokes. He's fun, isn't he? Just a little bit so it kind of curves back into him. I like that. It's Cinnamon my real name. Doxazine says that loves it when there's indentions in the watercolor pans. Yeah, me too. Where you're like digging holes in them. Okay, so now I have, this is one of my favorite colors. I love this color. It is hollow glitter. And here's, I'm going to say this, is not good for fish. I understand that. But it's really cool. And I'm using a very small amount of it. And I don't really have a way to reconcile any of that, but I'm going to use it anyways. I'm sorry. So I'm going to take this. Now, the thing about the hollow glitter is it can be a little hard to activate. I bought this online from Etsy. There's several makers. They come and go. Yeah, you got to get in there on that.
You keep moving too fast. I got to watch you.
And I very much like to use some of it here and there. can see that I need some green on the beak. Green on the beak. Green on the beak. The thing about making your own paint, the handmade watercolor paints, and when you make your own, how is it different from commercially made paint? You can add a lot more pigment. You can make the paint the way you like it. A little more of this here, I feel like in the white. And I need to get some pink. Come on, pink, come here. For the tongue. Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's get a nice little bit for this part. It looks amazing over the black. It's such a fun, and if, yeah, when you get in it, so hello, for those of you that watch Nailogical, hello. It is the good glitter. It is the good hollow. And as you can see, it definitely adds a little zhuzh. And in life, don't we need a little zhuzh? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not really sure anymore. But I'm going to go with it. A few bit of the hollow feathers kind of floating through. I just like them very much. Now, also, I had some hollow in the eye, so I'm going to do that again. Amy's like, I love the glitter. Okay, so that's how far we take the watercolor paint. This whole piece comes together in the white lining. Let me get my monogram liner. Now, a monogram liner is a brush for acrylic. I got a #1. This is a very long from the ferrule length out. It's not as long as like a rigger or something, but it's pretty long, and it gives you a nice fine line. I put my acrylic out on the palette. It peels off later when it's dry, so it hasn't been a problem, and we're going to do some white lining. Mary Myers is in the house! All right. Sorry.
And May from Norway is in the house.
Yay! I'm going to come here, and we're going to add a little, I'm going to maybe put a little bit right here. Let's come around here. There we go. He just got judgier. See, I dropped his lid. Now he's mad. Now he's mad. I'm going to make some little kind of wiggly lines. They're like little artful lines with lines. It's real fun to be playful. See, makes a lot of personality.
You know what I learned?
You learned it. Awesome.
If you're not Gen X, you may not know what the house is.
What?
You know, in the house.
What, somebody doesn't know what in the house is? I got asked a lot about Thundercats recently, too. What is this Thundercat you speak of? And I'm like, wow. You probably don't know what gargoyles either.
That was
Or
legitimately
the Real Beauty and the Beast.
well-written show.
It really was. Thundercats? You know, they remake every stupid thing in the universe, but they don't. But they did remake Thundercats, but I don't know. It didn't really catch or something. I just think that they missed the original He-Man's back, so I'm hopeful.
The 90s DC Batman, The Dark Knight, was legitimately good.
Tony Houston says, can you make this closed caption in the future on the watercolor videos? I believe, okay, so YouTube limits when I can close caption, I think. I enable closed captioning everywhere. Now that I'm partner, because we have enough watch hours, I guess they think we're a real channel now. So as soon as they enable that, I will look to see and I will turn that feature on because I believe in closed captioning. Not in the way like I think, you know, that we're, you know, it's real, but I think it's important. I think closed captioning is important.
You know what?
We're going to take this line and I kind of wiggle it along his little waddle up here, his little comb.
I think that if you did like, you know, Lion-O and Chitara in this
I think
paint?
we can, aren't they Warner Brothers? I think we can.
Or you could just fan out our
I'm just going to fan out on them.
Like you just snarf this dude
Narf.
in this color, in these like techno colors, he'd be all about it.
It'd be fun to do, the Thundercat. I'm probably getting no viewers, but I would love it, just personally. Amy says Gargoyles was awesome, and Mary Myers comes in with the Thundercats. Ho! Sorry, they just yelled in your ear, guys. You know, sometimes things have to happen. I'm gonna bring a little nostril here. I like to make a little line up there. Now, this was a weird thing I did, but it just felt compelled to give him some energy lines for his squawk. Artistically, it was gonna happen. Because the white lining is interesting on the paper. Now, I just dropped a bit of paper, but it'll dry out and it won't damage the paper in any way. Come here. I need to kind of define the wattle. And remember, if you're doing this on white, you're doing the lining in black, not white. The opposite. Opposite land. I like that. So mad now. He's so mad. I'm going to give him a little reflection in his eye. He's got a little shine in his eye now.
Mm-hmm.
Mad and shiny. The feathers here flying out. Give him some flyaways. How do you clean up the smudges in the right corner? So if it's just water, I just pull it up and it will dry and it will disappear. If it's something else, you can use a sea sponge. You can use a magic eraser. Sometimes if you catch it soon enough and the magic eraser is what, you can pull stuff up. A lot of times you can pick up with a brush. Watercolor is always activatable. It doesn't have the same drying issues that acrylic has. You may find that it's easier to change your mind about things than you're used to with acrylic. Kim Zook, so when painting with watercolor, do you need the canvases to be for watercolor? Yeah, the canvases need to be for watercolor or prepared with a ground that makes them for watercolor. Daniel Smith makes a good one, watercolor ground, and Golden makes one, but they called it absorbent ground. Daniel Smith makes a black watercolor ground. And they make a beige one that's kind of like skin toned. I don't know what that one's for. And they make a clear one and a white one. So a few. And they also make a gold gesso that's okay, but I think the Holbein gold gesso is a little better. Not that you needed to know that, but now you do. So we're going to pull some little lines here to kind of pull the structure of the tail. Pull a little bit of the tail. I like to do this with a little few lines. You can see that the white is nice, the way it pops on the paper. This Fabriano, black is amazing. I love it. The only thing I would ask the company to do is do it in a block. It's in loose sheets, and I could tape it down, but I would love it in a block because it would curl less. Just trying to be light and playful with the lines. Sketchy as you are. These are kind of like these lines that are like little squiggles. I like these types of marks. They're a fun thing that we get to do in art. Oh my goodness, we painted a judgy chicken!
You did make it. See, I'm not sure if this chicken is so judgy as much as a glam rocker. Just having a, just letting it out.
He's like, I believe in the color, just listen to the rhythm of the heart. Yeah! I'm fine. I'm fine. Things are fine. Things are good. How are you? So, what are we going to do? We are, if you're in the Pennsylvania area in June and July, check out our meetup days. If you want to come out for a retreat,
shameless self-promotion.
Check out the retreat. Yeah, shameless self-promotion.
We must do that.
Yeah. do that. Come and you can email us any questions that you have. You know, if you have anything that you want to know, just email us. Remember, we're going to do these more, so
I think,
you know, stay open for that. There'll be another one on the calendar soon.
theartsherpa.com/events.
Yeah, it has a lot of information.
At the very least, you go to theartsherpa.com, click on events. There's a store. We sell some stuff. We have stuff on Amazon.
Sometimes, yeah, and then we have stuff on Amazon.
We got a patron.
The brushes are not us on Amazon.
No,
not
us.
Not us. I mean, they are it's illegal. Like we have a deal.
Partnership of ours.
But it's not.
There's a new thing coming in the brushes, so that'll be coming later.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
If we get it done, or soon, you can find out how I painted this using secondary colors. No red, none.
Nope.
None. It'll break your brain when you see it happen, and I'll explain why it worked and when it won't work and all the stuff you actually need to know, and give you some more information about that. It's the first of some really cool, fun color mixing magic that I'm gonna teach you about, where we make impossible things with paint. I don't make rounds or anything for acrylic. I don't make paint yet, but I'm gonna teach y'all how to make paint.
Yet.
How's that sound? I'll teach you how easy it is to make your own paint.
It is. Can I say something about making paint? This is one of those things. One, I will say, it is very similar to painting as it is making paint. It's very easy to put paint on a surface and say you have painted. It's very easy to put pigment into a binder and call it paint. Now, to make that good and reliable and predictable,
I'll teach you how to make real honest paint.
That's the thing. That's the
thing. Paint. I'll teach you to make all the paint safely. Is there a traceable tonight? There should have been, so I'll go figure out what's up with that, and I will make sure that it's fixed by, before I go to bed or do another thing, I'll make sure that whatever's going on with the traceable, it's fixed, and you can get your traceable from theartsherpa.com of your chicken, because that's free. You should be able to download that. Sometimes I have technological challenges. No. I don't know why. Amy's excited for the paint making tutorial. Yeah, you guys will love this. It'll be your new addiction. It's not officially my group. It's Patty Hoffman's group, but she's a member of her family. There's the Watercolor Sherpettes, and they talk about paint making and watercolor in there. You can check that out, and we're going to be all making paint. It's going to be a thing. It is going to be a thing, and you're going to love it. And have some really fun ones planned for you that you're going to be like, this is so good. I never knew that such a wonderful thing existed. And you'll be like, hopefully we'll get all the way to making pastels. I don't know that I'm going to make lead paint, oil paints or anything. I don't know how life-threatening I'm going to choose to be.
And I don't know that you really can or should be prepared to make paint with us live. It's a very complex thing to jump into. You probably should come and watch.
Come watch, because what we're going to tell you is what materials you need. We're going to tell you what materials make it easier for you to do.
Yeah.
Right? And we're going to have a series of classes. So this is the first one where you could go to your local art store and buy things in the local art store or online, and we'll tell you where you can get the resources to get pigments to start making paint.
Yep.
And then as we go, we're going to tell you more things. Like there's weird stuff like it's harder to load reds or all the different stuff that you might not know about paint making. We're going to tell you how to make paint.
Here's the big secret.
We're not going to be loved by paint makers, but we're going to tell you how to make paint.
Nothing that you're going to need is a single sourced item that you can only get from one place on Amazon. Almost everything that we're talking about, you can find a local person to help you get this thing you need. Paint is a very, very old thing. You don't need to worry too much about it. It's just a little ingenuity.
We'll even eventually do one like paint you can make from your backyard.
Yeah,
real,
it's crazy.
Real paint.
It's super crazy.
Not I ground up some dandelions and painted with it, but like real paint. Paint that won't oxidize. Paint that's real, paint that's pigment that you might not know is in your area or in your kitchen. You have a couple things in your kitchen around that are making paint that you can make paint from. And we aren't going to make dangerous paints. This will be stuff that's safe for you and your pets to do right off the bat.
Yep.
You know, because pigment can get crazy, right? Like lead flake white, that's crazy to make that. That's a serious thing. All right. Patty's going to miss it because Shotzi has an appointment. So I'm sending some love and light to Shotzi, that Shotzi is doing good and is okay and is just loved by everybody. And I send that love to you guys. Thank you for being here on Facebook. Thank you for being here on YouTube. Thank you for coming and painting the Judgy Rooster. Friday is the paint making video, I think, at 1 o'clock.
Mm.
So it's on the upcoming lives. Hit the remind button. Come learn how to make paint. It's super fun. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you and Measle really soon. Bye-bye.